Welcome to Group Health Coaching in the new online format. This presentation is about how we can support our immune system through lifestyle and nutrition. Now, this is not a topic I would normally spend a lot of time on, but given the prevalence of the COVID-19 virus and how much it's on everyone's minds, it's important to note there are things that we can do on a day-to-day basis to support our continued health and give us a little peace of mind. Before we dive in, keep in mind this presentation is intended to be educational in nature. We will discuss how certain nutrients help support a healthy immune response, but the information should not be used to diagnose, treat, or mitigate any illness. It's important to work with a qualified healthcare provider to determine an optimal plan for you. The content here can be an excellent starting place for that discussion. Odds are you've heard the term pandemic by now, but what exactly is meant by that? To get an idea of where we're at, let's go over some terminology to get a grasp for levels of disease. Endemic refers to the usual presence of an infectious agent. It's a baseline of what we would normally find and is not usually a cause for concern. An epidemic is when there's an increase over what would be expected, like if we had a really bad flu season. And an outbreak is an epidemic with a more geographically restricted area. COVID-19 has been classified as a pandemic, which means it's an epidemic that has spread across several countries or continents. Once a virus reaches pandemic level, of course, it's on everyone's mind. No one is out of reach at this point. The best defense people have is to be as informed as possible. Government recommendations are a great place to start, and the CDC provides guidance for preventing the spread of illness and actions to take if you get infected. There are also public health initiatives like stay-at-home orders or limiting business operations that will also help protect us. What we're going to talk about most, though, is how we can support our own personal defense, our immune system. The basic recommendations for cold and flu prevention that we hear about every year are still very much applicable to a pandemic situation. Now, you might be thinking, why would we want to go over all of this again? Well, the real question is, are you actually following these recommendations? Because if not, you're not doing your part to prevent the pandemic from becoming bigger than it needs to be. To start with, hand washing is essential if you do not want to inadvertently infect yourself. Before you eat, before you touch your face, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds under running water. How about after you go to the bathroom? Well, I don't know if that's going to help prevent viral spread, but you should be doing that anyway. When you have to be around people not in your immediate family, it's also a good idea to practice social distancing. Keep a distance of about 6 feet between you and others. The reason for this, should they sneeze or cough, that's likely the distance the virus can travel. Finally, please stay at home if you're sick. Remember, it's not just about you. A lot of people go to work when they're sick, and it's because they think they can handle it, or they're not afraid of the coronavirus because they know they'll survive. But you could also infect many other people that may not do so well. Older people, sick people, and individuals taking immunosuppressive medications are at a much higher risk of serious complications. So please, just stay at home if you have symptoms. While prevention is a necessary strategy for mitigating the most severe outcomes, it's a given that prevention will ultimately fail for many, especially in a pandemic situation. It's made its way to us, and we're going to have to deal with it on some level. If the virus continues on its current course, or if there is resurgence in subsequent years, most people will likely be affected. But that doesn't mean the situation is hopeless. It's just like when we talk about stress management. Stress management isn't about creating a life free from stress where everything goes our way. It's about being prepared for difficult situations. And we can do the same thing with viruses and other illnesses. With sufficient preparation, we can strengthen ourselves, physically and mentally, to be able to meet the needs of this challenging circumstance and improve our odds for the desired outcome. What we're looking to strengthen is our immune system. This is our defense when we inevitably encounter viruses, bacteria, or parasites. There are two aspects to our immunity: the innate system and the adaptive system. Our innate defenses include physical barriers like the skin and mucosal layers, and also generalized immune cells that surround and neutralize external invaders. This aspect of the system is always in surveillance mode and provides a generalized protection. It can respond within minutes, but is not equipped for the advanced, sustained assault of some viruses. The adaptive system excels at intensive targeted attacks, but requires a previous exposure to an antigen and some time to be most effective. If our bodies don't have previously created antibodies from an exposure, like is the case with a novel virus, it can be much more difficult to mount an effective immune response. This capacity also decreases with age, depression, and stress. It's understandable how we can become complacent with suboptimal lifestyle habits when things are easy. But by making health-promoting decisions, we're preparing ourselves for the big challenges life throws at us. This pandemic is no different than anything else. The same things that give us more energy, a better mood, and prevent chronic illness also protect us in acute situations like this. Nutrition, exercise, and stress management are crucial for strengthening our system in viral defense. There will always be some conflict about dietary matters. But in general, research has shown that outcomes for viral infections are improved when you continue to eat. You don't starve a flu. However, the most important thing may be to eat foods in a pattern that reduces inflammation, something like a Mediterranean diet. Often, it's the failure of the body to appropriately resolve an immune response that does us in. Our own body tissues end up as collateral damage in a fight against the virus. High antioxidant foods like vegetables and fruits help mitigate this damage. There are many nutrients involved in immune function, and unfortunately, most of us don't get enough of any of them. A balanced diet, like what we normally recommend for every other positive health outcome, with vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and lean proteins, is still probably our best bet. It's really not the time to start experimenting with trendy new diets. Supplementation can also be useful, and popular choices for immune support include vitamin D, zinc, and vitamin C. Wait a minute. You might be thinking you've heard doctors and nutritionists say we don't need supplements. We can get everything we need from eating healthy foods. Well, that's true. So how healthy are you eating? Vitamin D is one crucial nutrient for immunity and inflammation that you probably aren't going to get enough of in food. That is, unless you're eating multiple servings of fatty fish daily or gallons of fortified milk. Most people get the majority of their vitamin D from exposure to sunlight. The sun's rays interact with cholesterol in our skin to produce a precursor that ends up as vitamin D. Since low levels are associated with an increased risk of respiratory tract infections and an overactive inflammatory response, knowing your levels can be very valuable. Supplemental dosages ranging from 400 to 4,000 IU have been shown to be protective from all varieties of infection, including viral. How do you know the optimal amount, though? Well, get tested. 4,000 IU is the established upper limit. Most people won't need that much, but it's unlikely to do you much harm either. The important part is to have at least a modest amount in your diet or supplement routine. Zinc is a mineral that is often supplemented in seasonal challenges, but one most people can easily get enough of by food alone. You can get your daily requirement with foods like nuts, seeds, lentils, oysters, clams, poultry, or small amounts of red meat. Go easy on that last one though, because we do still want to keep an eye towards long-term health. Zinc helps promote antiviral compounds in cells and also helps balance inflammatory effects. Though a balanced diet will likely give you most of the zinc you need, an additional dose of supplemental zinc when symptoms appear might also be helpful. Too much zinc can interfere with the absorption of other minerals though, so be sure to stay under the upper limit, which is 40 milligrams. And now we come to vitamin C, perhaps the most supplemented nutrient for colds and flus. For good reason. Guavas, bell peppers, oranges, berries, broccolis, and dark leafy greens are all good sources. It's all those fruits and vegetables again, kind of like a recurring theme for health. Anyway, vitamin C is such an essential nutrient for health that most animals produce their own internally. Humans are one of the very few exceptions, and this is likely because the nutrient is so prevalent in the types of foods that our ancestors ate that we didn't need to make our own. If you're eating plants all day long, you likely have a steady supply to the bloodstream. It's also been extensively studied in animals. Over 150 studies indicate its use for preventing and alleviating infections. Human research is a little more murky, however. You might have heard that we really don't absorb much vitamin C, so you wouldn't need to supplement. After all, studies on young, healthy individuals revealed plasma saturation occurs at ranges from about 200 to 400 milligrams a day. The RDA for an adult female is only 75 milligrams. So why would we supplement at much higher dosages when these amounts are easily met with 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day? Well, what's enough for young, healthy people doesn't quite cut it for sick, older people. Vitamin C is an antioxidant, making one of its chief roles neutralizing damaging molecules known as reactive oxygen species, or free radicals. When we are stressed, sick, or have any other kind of health challenge, our bodies produce significantly more free radicals, causing oxidative stress. These molecules are also created when our immune system kicks into gear to battle viral infections. That's right, much of the damage from severe viral infection comes from our own immune system. Serum vitamin C is dramatically decreased during these times. It's clear that our needs increase during times of stress, which exactly is what happens for animals as well. The only difference is that their body makes more. The evidence suggests that this is a benefit for humans as well. Research indicates that vitamin C reduces both the duration and severity of the common cold and helps mitigate viral symptoms. But how much is this actually worth? Well, if something has the potential to kill you, even a small reduction in duration and severity might make a big difference. This is not surprising since vitamin C is an essential nutrient for proteins that inhibit viral replication and also helps to mitigate excessive collateral damage in the resolution phase of the inflammatory immunity response. Higher doses at the onset of symptoms seems to confer the greatest benefit. However, firm recommendations are hard to come by since research is mixed on the matter. One study, however, indicated an 85% reduction of flu and cold symptoms with high-dose vitamin C. When symptomatic, the vitamin C experimental group received 1,000 milligrams every hour for the first 6 hours. Each day afterwards, they took 3,000 milligrams a day in divided doses, which was also the preventative recommendation. The control group only relied on over-the-counter cold and flu medications. While this is far from conclusive evidence, it does suggest a potential benefit. The dosage needs will obviously vary by the individual. And to further expand our knowledge in this area, a randomized controlled trial is currently underway in China to determine the efficacy of vitamin C infusions for COVID-19 related respiratory infections. Altogether, this is how we do our part. First, we follow common sense recommendations to prevent viral spread and strongly encourage others to do the same. We can stock up on toilet paper, get extra vitamin C, whatever we need to stay home. We'll also then take care of ourselves, make ourselves strong enough to meet the demands we're faced with. Then we'll be in a place to ensure the best possible outcomes for our lives. It really doesn't take that much. Wash your hands, keep your distance, eat balanced meals, and supplement intelligently. Keep your doctor informed of any substantial lifestyle changes you make or if you start experiencing viral symptoms. Then just get some sleep and try to relax. Thanks for listening and stay well, everyone.